Hello ladies and gentlemen, Deja Vu here, bringing you the second semifinal from the MSL Wildcard tournament. The winner of this game between Bisu and Roro will be playing Cal in the final to try and take Effort's spot into the round of... I'm pretty sure it's round of 16. Pretty sure that's what it is. So I've got to say that I'm actually rooting for Bisu, not because I like Bisu more than Roro or anything, but because I think a Bisu versus Cal, a bunch of PvPs, Bisu versus Cal would be really, really epic. I love watching the old dragons fight in PvP battles. Definitely the best is Bisu. You can't beat Bisu versus Stork. That is by far the probably the best PvPs you'll find as in terms of a rivalry these days. It's just awesome. But Bisu versus Cal, I could see Bisu versus Cal being pretty amazing as well. So that's what I'm hoping for, simply for that. This is Triathlon. This is the map that Hyuk in ZVP went and 2-hatch Lurker Stats took him down when Stats went for a Nexus behind his base, and it looks like Bisu's trying to set up for a similar thing, throwing down a pylon on top of his ramp. So it looks like he's gonna maybe go Nexus first and then defend at the top of his ramp, and we'll see how Roro plays this. Probably different than Hyuk. I'm gonna think that most players don't play ZVP or ZVT at all in the Hyuk style. If you remember the last game, it was just, I mean, Hyuk looked fine for the first maybe, I don't even know, maybe the first like 10 minutes of the game, and then there was like this just 2 or 3 minute period of time where he probably lost like 1,000 resources, like 1,000 resource value of units, and killed a couple hundred. Like it was just like one of those things where you're just like, what are you even doing, Hyuk? This isn't even reasonable. So that's what that was. And Roro's obviously a better player than Hyuk. Looks like Roro's throwing down his second hatchery at his natural expansion. I think that was a 12 hatch. Sending out a drone to scout as well, and Bisu building a gateway just to make sure that, you know, he needs to produce those zealots at the beginning, just to make sure that that Roro doesn't win with a small Zergling batch or something like that. Yeah, that it was a 12 hatch, 11 pull, so pretty standard. And Bisu should be throwing up his Nexus pretty soon at his back expo. At least that would be the assumption. And that drone scout for Roro just got into Cal's base, or sorry, into Bisu's base. So he's gonna get the full scout on here. He's gonna see that probe go back maybe. Oh, that would have actually been very, very cool. I would have thought it would have been very, very cool if Roro with that drone went to the back base and tried to like harass this Nexus from going down. Looks like that's maybe what he's trying to do. It's kind of hard to do that, but that would be pretty cool if he was able to pull it off. And it looks like that's exactly what he's trying to do. Will he be able to pull it off? And nope. Nexus does go down before he can start his harass. That would have been so funny if he had been able to, like, I think every Zerg player would have just started cheering simply to see a Protoss player struggle to get their third base up and like be like, yes, now you know what it feels like. But to no avail. Roro not able to get there quite in time, and this Bisu probe trying to be a nuisance and actually doing a lot of damage to that drone. Looks like that drone's gonna try and use... Oh! Bisu with the assimilator! Oh! Not gonna let that drone get his health back. Bisu just being a nuisance. That was awesome. That was just so funny. And Bisu coming in here with the Zealot, actually. I didn't even notice this. I didn't even see the Zealot coming in here. But it looks like this probe and Zealot combo is gonna try and see if they can get any kills. That was just really cute. I mean, effectively, it doesn't really do anything, to be totally honest with you, but like, it was cool. It was a cool play, and it delayed the gas by a little bit. And the Zealot does get one kill. Will it get a second? It gets a second kill, and you know it's more than made up for its price. With one kill, you know, it is what it is. But with 2 kills, that's when the Zealot really, when that first Zealot really starts to pay off. 1 gas here for Roro. He had to take his natural expansion gas because he couldn't take his main. That's just so funny. I love, you know, sometimes players just do things that are just so amusing that you're just like, yeah, that was cool. And I'll give it to you, Bisu. That was pretty cool. So that's that. And Stargate coming up, and another probe going to the back base for Bisu. Roro just backing up. He has taken his back base as well. So both these players have taken their back bases, which means, like I said this in the other game between Hyuk and Stats, I don't know. Obviously, it didn't come into play. But if either player particularly goes with drops, those back expansions are so vulnerable, so vulnerable. Even when you blow up the eggs, even after you blow up the eggs, they're still vulnerable simply because it takes a while for you to bring your force back up your ramp through your main base, which has a tendency to be clogged with buildings and then threw that narrow choke into your back expo to defend. So that's one of those things about Triathlon. That back expo is so difficult to defend. Just something to watch out for. We have a Hydra's Den coming up here for Roro, and probably going to see a creep colony or an evolution chamber come up pretty quickly as well. This has got to be really easy for Zergs to SimCity now, because they only have to SimCity one spot. Like, usually they take 3 bases, but they have to SimCity in 2 locations in order to defend properly. Now he only has to SimCity once. So that's got to be pretty nice for him. A couple Zealots on the ramp to stop any Zerglings from getting in there, and this drone's still alive, still getting the scout, and that's a high quality drone right there. I think you got to definitely say that that's one of the better drone scouts I've seen in a while. Looks like it's gonna die now. Will it get home? Yeah, it's gonna die. There's no way it's gonna get through those Zealots. Yeah, there it goes. The drone has died, and now this Corsair getting a scout on, seeing everything that's going down. Saw the I think he saw the Hydra go down before the Spire, so he probably has a pretty good idea that there's going to be a pretty heavy either a Hydra or Lurker build coming his way. There's the 4th hatchery as well, and Bisu hasn't even built a forge or any cannons yet. That is pretty interesting. He hasn't felt the need to build any forge or cannons, so he's not going to have upgrades. Originally, I was thinking purely for the cannons to defend this back expo and to defend the top of this ramp against a lurker build like what we saw from Hyuk. But also, he's not going to have upgrades, and that's usually something that Protoss players place a premium on, is having that upgrade advantage over their Zerg opponents. So this is definitely a little bit of a different play from Bisu. And I'm kind of interested to see how he, what the strategy here as he goes, progresses into the mid game, and he doesn't have those upgrades. He's going to pick off another Overlord with these Corsairs, taking some damage on those Corsairs, but picking off an Overlord, and overall, I'm sure it's fine with him. And there is the 5th hatchery going down at the main, about halfway done. Robotics facility has been completed. Is there a support bay? Yes, there is a support bay, so he's going to go Reavers. So this looks like it might actually be pseudo Sarah Reaver. We have 4 Sares in the air right now, and is that Cybernetics core spinning? I think it was. That little bar at the top that says who's playing is kind of in the way, but I think I saw that Cybernetics core spinning, so I think he's getting +1, and this could be Sarah Reaver coming from Bisu, which would be very cool. Don't really see too much Sarah Reaver nowadays, just really not that effective anymore. But that would be pretty cool to see it. And that Zergling, that is one of the better. You know, he has had a great scouting drone, and now he had a great scouting Zergling. Seeing that shuttle pick up those Zealots was pretty awesome for him, because now he knows that there's a shuttle out there and it has Zealots in it. I mean, and he knows that he's got to defend that back expo. If he doesn't defend that back expo now, I would be incredibly disappointed in him if he doesn't see this coming. This is the telltale sign that you need to defend that back expo, and I think he does see that. He's got a couple Scourge there, which will be important in terms of trying to stop. Wow, that is a huge Overlord bunch. He's asking those all to die. And but yeah, I mean, he's got to be careful with that back expo. I mean, those Scourge are not in the best location to really pick off a shuttle. But obviously, anytime that there's going to be a lot of Corsairs in the air, it's kind of hard to pick off shuttles. And here come the Corsairs. Looks like they're going to look for these Overlords. Looks like they pick off 1. If he heads towards the natural expansion and sees those Overlords, man, he's going to pick off a lot of Overlords really quickly. I don't think these Overlords have much of a chance of survival. And Bisu actually using this Reaver defensively, and this is something that I saw from Jangbi a lot actually on Matchpoint, and I think a couple of other Protosses started doing it too, is they produce that Reaver pretty early, and then they defend, use that Reaver to defend and get their 3rd base up and running rather than being aggressive with it, which is kind of a different opening, very different opening than the traditional Sarah Reaver. So kind of cool. He's taking a play out of the Jangbi playbook. If I had to take a guess, I would say that Jangbi did not start it, but since he was the first one I saw do it, and I like Jangbi, obviously that's who I'm going to credit with it. And yeah, this Overlord bunch that I was talking to you about, they all just died. I think it was like 7 Overlords or something. They all just died. So I'm sure Roro's deep into the red at this point, can't produce any units, and Bisu can expand with casual ease. It looks like he's actually finished speed on that shuttle as well, so he's going to pick up this Reaver and go out with his main force, throwing up a Nexus behind his forces. So he's going to throw up that Nexus. He's going to have those Sare. He's got a Reaver. He's got some Zealots and some ground forces. And this shuttle, this Scourge is going to miss that shuttle, and a Spore Colony actually coming up for Roro as well to defend. And it looks like Roro's thrown up a couple of hatcheries at that the base at the 6 o'clock position, and then inside, and that's like the inside 4 o'clock, we'll call it. And that inside 4 is obviously not even going to have a tiny bit of a chance of surviving. He should probably cancel it. Looks like he's gonna try and save it. But here comes the Reaver, 2 Reavers actually. I'm sorry, I missed the first Reaver, or maybe it was in the shuttle the whole time and I just didn't notice it. And these Corsairs going for the Overlords while the Zealots come in here and engage the Hydras, and the Dragoons and the Reavers coming in from behind. So this is really dangerous for Roro. He's trying to defend his Overlords because he needs to produce units, but yeah, now his Hydras are all going down. So this is a really bad position for Roro. Looks like he's lost almost all of his Hydras, and I think Bisu has basically won the game actually. Again, another very, very quick game, 10.5 minutes in, and I think it's over already. Yeah, Bisu, this is over. I mean, there's just no way that Roro is going to be able to defend against this. There's no way he's going to be able to come down his ramp and fight off these Reavers. And then at that point, he's at 2 base fighting off 3 bases of Bisu. And that is just, that's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. So this is game. It's just a matter of waiting for GG. Roro probably doesn't want to, but there it is. Roro forced to GG. Bisu getting the win, so he's going to go into the final. We're going to see Bisu Cal final, and that's probably going to be the most exciting games of the day. Most of these games have been quite short. Some very good plays out of some of these players. That was actually pretty cool. Once again, pretty cool play by pretty good play by Bisu with those Reavers and those Corsairs. I think that the critical play was Roro putting himself that deep into the red, putting like 7 or 8 Overlords together. He couldn't produce anything, and then he felt the need to try and defend those Overlords that he probably couldn't afford to use those Hydras picking at the Corsairs to defend, rather than attacking the Zealots. So that was bad for Roro. But that's that. We're gonna go on to the finals. Bisu versus Cal. I will see you guys over there.